Now on our late edition, 10 o'clock news, thunderstorms rolling through tonight. I'll have those details for you.
Plus, the death of an eastern Missouri police officer is felt here in the 4 states. And the public pays their respects to fallen Joplin police officer Jake Reed.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some thunderstorms are rolling through parts of the area. Thanks for staying up late with us for this edition of KOAM News at 10. We're going to go straight to meteorologist Doug Henny.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a loud night across the region. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning. I'm not expecting anything too strong or severe, which is the good news, but you may wake up to some thunder or lightning as we go through the overnight hours. Also, some very heavy amounts of rain. We've had one band that's already rolled through, and then a second band is really increasing on the Kansas side down through northeastern Oklahoma. Now, where you see the yellows, the oranges, and somewhat red, that's the very heavier amounts of rain and also a lot of thunder and lightning as that band continues to work through over the next several hours. So periods of showers and thunderstorms really all night long. And then once we get the cold front in here, by mid-morning to late morning, our temperatures are going to drop. So it's just going to be a cold, raw, kind of nasty day for us as we go through the daytime hours on Friday. Of course, we're also going to look into the weekend. We have another storm system rolling in on Monday. So I'm going to give you all those details all coming up here in just a bit.
See you then. The death of a law officer in eastern Missouri today feels too familiar. He was killed in the line of duty and has ties to the 4 states. Bonne Terre, Missouri police officer Lane Burns, killed today, was born in Carthage, where he attended school through high school. Some of his family still lives in the Carthage area. Authorities say Burns and a gunman died following a shootout at a motel in Bonne Terre, Missouri, that left another officer wounded. Investigators say Burns and fellow officer Garrett Worley were sent to a reported disturbance at a Motel 6 in Bonne Terre a little after 12:30 this morning. Police say a man came out and fired at the officers with a handgun, and both officers were shot. The officers returned fire, killing that man, later identified as 21-year-old James Emery of St. Louis. Officer Burns later died at a hospital. Officer Worley was flown to a St. Louis trauma center with a gunshot wound to the leg. Bonne Terre, like the 4-state area, is heartbroken.
This is a small community, a smaller community, smaller police department, so this really hits hard for those folks here. It's going to be a tough go the next few days, next few weeks as they deal with the aftermath of this in their community.
Officer Burns was 31 years old and leaves 2 children. His fiancée, Shannon Chasteen, says she was listening to police scanners and heard the call that the officers were down. The public today paid respects to fallen Joplin police officer Jake Reed, who was killed in last week's Joplin shooting. That visitation took place at the Leggett and Platt Center at MSSU. The funeral for Officer Reed will take place tomorrow. It'll also be at the Leggett and Platt Center. The funeral services will begin at 1 p.m. You'll be able to see the funeral live on KOAMNewsNow.com and through the KOAM News app. Officer Reed was 27. A Joplin organization is creating a fund to support the children of area first responders who are killed or injured in the line of duty. The Joplin Regional Community Foundation today established the Answering the Call Fund. The fund will provide money for education and other expenses to families of first responders in Jasper and Newton counties.
But if you had an officer whose child, for example, didn't have any special needs but needed some help with education above and beyond the benefits that were already there, or maybe he had a mother who has survived, and you're like, well, the mom he was helping out with, and so can we help with that? So it's really designed to be flexible for whatever the particular need is.
The Joplin Regional Community Foundation is accepting donations for the fund on its website. A licensed clinical social worker with Hope Spring in Joplin is emphasizing the importance of mental health for first responders during this difficult time for our community. Counseling can make a big difference following a tragedy. Our local expert says that working through feelings of grief, survivor's guilt, and acute stress is especially important right now. In a profession where vulnerability isn't often shown, this counselor wants law enforcement to know that these feelings are perfectly normal and treatable.
It has nothing to do with strength or weakness, and everything to do with We are physiologically built to respond to stress in a particular way.
Collins says grief can be cumulative and lead to loss of sleep, trouble eating, and other physical problems. She advises taking breaks from social media and troubling headlines in the news. If you or someone you know needs to talk, you can find links to mental health resources in this article on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. A fire in Joplin this evening put one person in the hospital. That fire broke out in a storage building at 14th and Virginia around 4:30 in the area of some unused old railroad tracks. The fire department says some individuals said they were doing some work inside the building when supplies caught fire. One person was taken to the hospital. No word on that person's condition. The Missouri State Highway Patrol is investigating a death in Vernon County. Yesterday, the Vernon County Sheriff's Office received a report of a body found in a field southeast of Nevada. The sheriff asked the Highway Patrol's Division of Drug and Crime Control to conduct the investigation. Authorities have not released any other details. At least 6 people died and several were injured in chain reaction crashes involving dozens of vehicles on an interstate in southeast Missouri. The collisions began around 8 this morning on Interstate 57 as thick fog enveloped the Charleston area. That's about 150 miles south of St. Louis. The coroner says a mobile morgue has been established at a funeral home in Charleston. Missouri State Highway Patrol says about 50 vehicles were involved, including several semi-trailer trucks. Officials said an approximately 25-mile stretch of the interstate remained closed well into tonight. Coming up, the Joplin Public Library is giving people a chance to create their own 3D design and then print it. Plus, we're going to hear about the different ways some 4-staters put together their brackets for this year's March Madness. The Joplin Public Library opened a new space, giving people the chance to bring their designs to life. The Maker Space allows people to use a software called Tinkercad to create 3D designs. Then they can take those designs and make them a reality with a 3D printer. The space also includes a laser cutter to etch or engrave materials, as well as audio and video equipment.
We also work with people to just show them the basics, and then they can take it as far as they'd like to go. The whole idea is that people come together. It's a place for them to collaborate and to learn from one another. So it's a rather unique space.
It's free to use Makerspace equipment, and a library card is not even required. However, you will need to bring your own materials. Foster Adopt Connect opened their doors today in Joplin. They're a nonprofit organization that supports foster and adopted children and families through their 8 different programs. They provide clothes, diapers, wipes, shoes, household items, and more, all free of charge, and they help support children and families through their many programs.
This has been a great opportunity to work in my passion, something I hadn't had before, and so that's been really tremendous.
The kids that are tucked in every night in this community are going to have access to more people on their team trying to do what's necessary to give them a positive outcome.
That facility is at 1802 West 32nd Street, and it relies on donations. For more information, click on the link on this story on KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, a lot of people took advantage of the relatively nice weather earlier this evening and also the dwindling presence of COVID-19 in the area, and they headed to downtown Joplin for Third Thursday. This was the first Third Thursday event of the year. Some of the festivities included food trucks, live music, a vintage car show, and of course, a whole lot of vendors. These events will happen on the third Thursday of every month through October. Today is St. Patrick's Day, and it's also the start of the first round of March Madness college basketball tournament, as you well know. To celebrate, a lot of sports fans went to area bars for a beer and several TVs to watch all of the action tonight. KOAM's Jalen Banks caught up with some of those sports fans to find out how they went about building their brackets for the big dance.
But I actually, the last few years, have gotten into like studying some numbers and stuff. I look at KenPom, I look at three-point percentage, how reliant each team is on free throws, shooting free throws, because in the tournament a lot of times officials will swallow the whistle. So I look at a lot. I actually nerd out on this stuff. I do a lot of research.
Definitely strength of schedule and the conference they play in, definitely big things. Definitely Tennessee. I like Tennessee, and I don't know if Baylor plays today, but Baylor, I like Baylor too.
One way is I just fill it all out game by game, who I think is going to win each game, and then see what the net result is. But sometimes, like was the case this morning, if I get to a team with the Final Four that I don't like, I'll go back and try to find a team I like better. So I did that today. So I've got two different methods.
A lot of broken hearts and broken brackets tonight. An estimated 60 to 100 million brackets are made every year for March Madness. A little bit later, a former Crowder College baseball standout is back after some time playing Division I.
Plus, thunderstorms continue to increase. We're going to look at that coming up next. Well, all week long, we've had fantastic temperatures, and no exception again for us today as temperatures pushed 80 during the afternoon, but a pretty strong storm system has been working through at least over the past few hours, and this is going to give us periods of showers, thunderstorms as we go through the rest of the overnight hours for us tonight. You can really see the rain increasing northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern parts of Kansas. So one band's already worked through and lifting toward the north. Second band is working in northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas. First off, none of these are going to be too strong. Nothing's going to be severe. Maybe a little loud, just good old thunderstorms for us as we go through the overnight hours tonight. As of right now, the metro is just starting to get some showers and thunderstorms creeping in. Also, Pittsburgh, Neosho picking up a little bit more once you get over toward Miami. But you can see some pretty good thunderstorms. Parsons, Mountain Valley over toward Independence, Coffeyville. We can track a little bit farther south now where you see the yellows, oranges, and reds. That's even heavier amounts of rain. So Nowata County, Craig County, and then let's work a little farther toward the east. Here's Ottawa County, showers, thunderstorms picking up and tracking south toward Grand Lake. So it's going to be a wet night across the region. As of right now, indigo sky looking decently quiet, even though thunderstorms are starting to push in to the region. It's been kind of windy all day long, but look at our front. Cold front's creeping in. So it's really from Fort Scott, Chanute, Independence, and then down through northeastern Oklahoma. The winds are picking up on the back side, so it is going to be windy tonight. It's going to be windy as we go into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. 7th range line, okay at this point in time, but this whole storm system, as it works through, it's going to give us some pretty good amounts of rain. And look at the colder air on the backside. You got snow up through central parts of Kansas, where some areas are going to pick up 3 to 6 inches of snow as we work through the rest of the night into the morning hours for us tomorrow. So some pretty heavy amounts of rain. All right, let's go through time. The rest of the night, periods of showers, periods of thunderstorms. Here's 4 o'clock in the morning. So again, kind of a loud night, a little bit of a lull early in the morning. Then we get on the back side of this storm system, and as we go through the day into the afternoon hours, it's just cloudy, it's windy, it's cold. We have on and off showers. In fact, we're going to be warmer in the morning, and then we drop into lower 40s by 4 p.m. Look at those winds, northerly winds at about 10 to 20 as we go into the afternoon. Showers continue tomorrow evening. I think most of these are going to taper off by 9 or 10 p.m. We'll start to clear out late. And then Saturday looks pretty good. We get sunshine back and we go into lower 60s for afternoon highs. Rainfall amounts pretty good. I think most of us a ½ an inch upwards to 3/4 of an inch of rain as we go through the rest of the night, and then those on and off showers as we work into Friday. So 51 and dropping through the day. The weekend looks fantastic. 64 Saturday, 73 on Sunday, and then right back into thunderstorms again Monday and Tuesday, a little bit cooler by the middle of the week. Some of those storms on Monday could be a little bit stronger, so we'll keep our eyes on that.
You know, you have an unfair advantage in giving the forecast for Friday, giving the fact that it's after midnight.
Yeah,
technically,
it's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
We're forecasting what's happening today.
There you go.
Sort of. Thanks, Doug. Hey, don't forget you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. Again, check out the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Still ahead, Frontenac softball enters this spring motivated by an early exit from last year's state playoffs. And Crowder All-American outfielder Landry Wilkerson's journey brings him back to Neosho. Jacob Leonard has that story next.
The Frontenac Raiders are in their first week of softball practice. The Raiders are excited to get started and motivated after the way last season ended. Frontenac's loss to Silver Lake in the first round of last year's 3A state tournament still stings.
It's come up several times in our conversation, and we all remember the great season we had, but how you finish is something you remember.
It burns. It's just not the way we wanted to end, obviously.
Just thinking about how it ended was kind of sad, but I think we'll make a good comeback this year.
Coming back, I think that's kind of fuel for us to get where we need to be.
I'm hoping, we remember those feelings and use that to motivate us to get to where we want to be in May.
Frontenac loses just one starter from last year's team. They returned 3 first-team All-State players and an offensive lineup that can do it all.
I really truly believe 1 through 9 this year is going to be a power up there, whether it be speed, power, placement of the ball, those sorts of things. But, the kids that have been here the last couple of weeks are swinging the bat well.
We have girls that can hit the ball. We have girls that can run, bunt, and so with that, it's just kind of hard to stop.
You pair that with the defensive mindset that I have, I think that we're going to have, we have a lot of potential to be a really good team this year. I just hope that we reach that potential.
The Raiders also returned first-team All-State pitcher Mia Brown.
We're really excited to have Mia back in the circle. Last year, she had just come off that horrible leg injury and really worked hard to get back to be in a position to lead us in the circle, and she did a great job with that, and I expect nothing less from her this year,
I settled in really well last year, and I think this year will be even better, just having that first year of experience.
One great thing is that we have some kids underneath her that can throw the ball for us a little bit in the circle this year, and that'll allow her, to play some different positions on the field, which I know she'll be really excited to do.
Frontenac has high expectations with a talented, proven, and experienced group. That group is motivated to get back to state and get a different result this spring.
These kids remember what it felt like last year to go home. We had an expectation to go up there and win that first round game, and props to Silver Lake, they were a great team, but we didn't play our best softball, and I think that that taste is sour in their mouth. The basketball kids had a great run with their program, and I think that they had expectations to maybe move on a little farther in the state tournament. So I just hope all of those things drive these kids to make it to that second round of the state tournament, but also to focus on what we have to focus on right now, and that's present day. We have to get better at the little things so that when we get to regionals in the state tournament, we give ourselves a chance to be successful.
Frontenac begins the season on March 29th on the road against Hume, Missouri. To baseball now, Landry Wilkerson was an All-American outfielder for Crowder last season. After spending last fall at Division I Arkansas, Wilkerson is back in Neosho playing for the Rough Riders. Danny Terzer catches up with Wilkerson to talk about his journey back to Crowder and what's next in his baseball career.
Now batting the right fielder, number 19, Landry Wilkerson.
After a few months away, Landry Wilkerson is back in a Crowder uniform.
He's one of us. He's one of the guys. But his impact on the field and in the dugout's been felt.
Wilkerson spent the fall as part of the Arkansas baseball program before transferring back to Crowder for his final year of JUCO eligibility.
I'm very grateful to go. It was a good experience, but I got there and I didn't know who all was going to be there. I didn't know how many outfielders they were going to have, but there was a lot of outfielders, and I just wanted to play baseball, so I came back here. See where I go.
Wilkerson was a standout player for Crowder in 2021. He led the team with 20 home runs and was a big part of their third place finish at the JUCO World Series.
He helps you win a game every time he's out there. He's had 4 or 5 outfield assists already and thrown guys out in tie ball games. And that's the definition of a difference maker is a guy that when he goes 0 for 4 still helps you win. And when he goes 4 for 4, it's pretty easy.
Wilkerson is confident in his choice to return.
It was a hard decision. I thought about it for a while. Every time I would come up to Neosho, whenever I had my free time, it was just like, this feels like home, this is where I need to be.
The feelings were mutual.
One phone call in October, he said, what would you think about me coming back? And I said, gee, no, not a first-team All-American coming back at the break. I said, whatever's best for you is what I want, and if that ends up being the case, then yeah, obviously we'd be glad to have you.
Wilkerson is eager to get another shot at bringing a national title to Crowder.
It was heartbreaking last year just getting to finish third, and I wanted to come back and win baseball games and help us go win a national championship, and it's pretty much my biggest goal right now.
In Neosho, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Wilkerson has played all 25 games for Crowder so far this spring. He has 4 home runs, 7 doubles, and is second on the team with 24 RBIs. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
We take time now to honor a local veteran. Robert Edwards served in the U.S. Air Force from 1955 to 1964. The Galena, Kansas native was stationed in Vietnam, and we are proud to salute Captain Robert Edwards, a 4-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes from all across this area. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime. It's very simple. You just go to KOAMnewsnow.com. Folks at the Joplin Library had a chance to learn about what it's like to work at a zoo. Mike Crocker, the director of the Dickerson Park Zoo in Springfield, stopped by the library for a book signing for his new book, There's a Crocodile in My Bathtub, True Tales from the Dickerson Park Zoo. As part of that book signing, he brought along some ambassador animals.
A couple of people have told me that have read the book that it was one of those kind of books that you just can't put it down. You start reading the stories and they're so interesting that they just don't want to quit.
I think we've met once.
He also told some of his favorite stories while working at the zoo, and I'm sure there are a lot of them. Those of you who are staying up late with us know that there's some thunder out there right now.
Yeah, showers, thunderstorms continuing across the region. Bigger batch is rolling in now, so it's going to get kind of loud over the next few hours, and then our temperatures will start to drop as we head into Friday. On the 7-day, you can see just kind of chilly for us tomorrow. We back down into the 40s. Weekend looks pretty good. 64 Saturday, 73 by Sunday.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts pretty soon, relatively speaking, 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.